Hi everybody, Ellen Valentine here with Leathering School. I'm thrilled to be here with you today to talk about the Cricut cutting machine. That's right, a machine that can actually cut your leather projects out. Up to this point, we've all dreamed about having a Camels or a CNC driven cutting machine to cut out all of our leather projects, but at this point, those machines are all six figures and really out of reach of any hobbyist or even the small-time maker, small business owner. Now with a Cricut, you can actually use the machine, an affordable machine that you can purchase at Joann's or Michael's, Home Shopping Network. You can use this new machine to cut out your leather projects, and I want to tell you all about it and how I've brought this into my studio and what I'm doing with the Cricut. So let's go ahead, we're going to switch the cameras and I'm going to show you the machine and show you the accessories that you need to get going cutting out your leather projects using the Cricut. Okay, here we are. Let me introduce the Cricut Maker to you. This is my Maker unit. Comes in several different colors. If you care about the color, you can pick your color of your choice. This is the Wisteria model, a slight pale purple. First thing you're going to want to do is open your unit. And as soon as you pop open the top, then your tray is going to slide out here. There's a very nice storage unit in the bottom here to store any extra tools or wheels or things like that, or markers. There's also a couple of storage units over here on the side of the machine to store your caps and things like that when they're in use. The system is very, very easy to use. There's only 4 buttons on the Cricut. The power, the feeder for your mats, the begin and the pause, or the start and the pause. That is it. It's a very, very simple unit. The heart of the unit is this adaptive tool system here that holds the knife blade. It holds a lot of other blades as well, but for those of us that are leather workers, we really only are going to care about the knife blade. The blade is very easy to insert. You're just going to pop the cover off here. The other side comes open. Then here is your actual knife blade, and you can see that there's actually an X-Acto style slanted knife blade at the end of this unit. It's very, very easy to insert this into the machine. You've got the threads here that are open, and then you've got in the back a protective wheel. So what you're going to want to do is put the protective wheel away from the machine, insert that into the adaptive tool system, close the first cover, close the second cover, and you're ready to go. So that's all there is to get your machine set up with the knife blade. And by the way, I understand that the only machine that will operate the knife blade is the Cricut Maker. So that's why you want to get the Maker, because you need the knife blade to cut the leather. For those of you that were asking, you can actually cut leather up to 2.3 millimeters thick. So it can be quite thick in order to cut with this machine, but obviously you want to test. If you work with a very, very stiff leather, then you may want to borrow a friend's machine and give it a test to make sure that it can handle your leather type. I've been working with the softer chrome tan leathers, and they've been cutting just beautifully. So the next thing you're going to need with your Cricut machine are mats. And here you see a mat. This is a 12 by 12 mat. I've already used this. There's some leather residue here on the mat. I've got a protective film on my mat, and I would suggest that when you are not using your mat, that you store the protective film on it so that your mat does not get dusty. If it gets dusty, it's going to lose some of the adhesion properties. So this is the 12 by 12 mat. It also comes in a 12 by 24. I can't even fit this on the screen. A 12 by 24. So really, you can go quite long with this machine. 12 by 24, your real limitation is the width. It only is 12 inches wide. So you may not be able to cut out all your bag parts on this, but you certainly can cut an entire wallet on this project. You can cut out all of your zip plackets. You can cut your end shapes. You can cut any magnet attachments. You can cut quite a lot of things with this machine, even if you can't cut out the main body pieces of your bag. They would recommend that none of your pieces be less than about 3/4 of an inch thick or 3/4 of an inch wide. This is not designed for very, very fine, detail, thin pieces of leather. So you definitely want to make sure that you are, using this only for, for pieces for bags. It works great for that. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you how to use the Cricut Design Space software. You're going to use this in conjunction with your own design software like Adobe Illustrator, and we'll show you how to get your pattern and everything set up, and then how to get it moved over so that you're actually making and cutting out your pieces on your Cricut Maker. Hi everybody, welcome to the Cricut Design Space. This is an application that runs on your computer. You also can run it in a browser. So you're not downloading any software to your computer, you're running it in the browser. But I have been advised that you really do need to go ahead and move to the application so you're not impacted by any other items running in your browser. This is still at a beta version. You see up here at the top, beta version 5.4.10. This has been a very stable application for me. I would suggest you go ahead and actually work in the beta version of this application. You can see I've already specified that I'm running a Maker, a Cricut Maker. No other machine types here, but I'm running with the Cricut Maker, so that's already defined and calibrated. When you first get your machine, you may want to click over here and you can see calibrate. You may want to calibrate and set up your new machine over here. So those are those functions. Let's go ahead and do a new project. So here we have it. This is the Cricut Design Space, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin our project. Now you can see here templates and images and text. Those are all great functions if you're doing graphic design. But if you're actually working with your handbag or small leather goods pattern pieces, you're going to want to design those in another application. I use Adobe Illustrator for that. So I design my pieces in Adobe Illustrator. I bring them into the Cricut Design Space and then have them cut. So let's go ahead over here first to Adobe Illustrator. You'll see our project today is a zip placket. I've designed this in Adobe Illustrator. And what you want to do when you're all finished with your pattern piece is you want to file, save as, and you want to save this as an SVG file. That's something that Cricut will understand quite nicely. And that's what I've been working with really since I got the machine. I'm not going to go ahead and save it as an SVG because I've already done that for us. So I'll hit cancel here. Now I'm going to go back over into the Cricut Design Space and I'm going to upload my image. You can see here I've already uploaded it before, but I'm going to do it again here for you guys so you can see it. So we're going to go over to Finder. We're going to find our zip pocket SVG file, and we're going to go ahead and upload that image. So let me click here to upload. Nice thing is that you can actually just drag it in here once you've got it uploaded. And then we're going to go over here, our green button to save. And there we have it. We've saved that image. Now we want to click on that image that we've just uploaded, and we want to go over here to the lower right and we want to insert that image into the design space. And there it is. It's in our design space. Now the nice thing about this is you've got some commands. You can lock this. You can rotate it around. So if you want to twist this around, you can move it around and rotate it easily. You just have to click in the corners. You want to expand it, you can do that, which we don't want to do that because we have it sized just the way we want it, which for me is 7 inches by a little more than 1.5 inches. But what I do want to do is I want to move this up to the upper left-hand corner because that's where my leather is going to be adhered to the mats. So, and you'll see that in a minute, but I want to put that there. And I want to work with my leather on my board, on my mat, and it's going to be adhered in the upper left-hand corner. Because I've got two separate objects here, I've got my inner area of the zip part, and then I've got my outer placket. What I want to do is I want to attach these two items. That way, Cricut will not move these items. They will move them only together and not move them separately. Cricut is always trying to optimize the layout of your designs. And so you want to basically attach those items so that they only move together. Then, oh, by the way, I also leave usually about 1/4 of an inch around my margins here so that I am in a safe area. I don't want to move this all the way up to the corner because I want to have a little bit of a safe area here. Then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click the Make It button. And it's pulling me in here and saying that I can do this on the 12-inch by 12-inch Cricut mat. It's a little difficult to see here, but my zip placket is all ready to go. And it's on the 12 by 12 mat. If I need to change to the larger mat, I can certainly do that here. The largest mat that you can get is a 12 by 24-inch mat, which comes in quite handy if you're cutting out an entire wallet or something like that. So what I go ahead here is just continue. It's connecting to my machine. You can see that here at the top. Now it's asking me to select my material. And I know my leather is about 1.2 millimeters thick, but it's very soft leather. It's not a stiff leather, it's very soft. So I know that this garment leather selection is going to work fine for me. So I've selected that as my material. There are all kinds of materials you can select from. Those are my popular items because I've really just used this for cutting leather. And then we're going to get some reminders here. Reminders to move the star wheels all the way to the right. Make sure your material is no wider than 11 inches and is secured to a strong grip mat using masking tape on all 4 sides. And you'll see that when I show you the actual cutting process. I've actually taped my leather down to the strong grip mat using masking tape on all 4 sides. I don't do anything with the pressure. It's telling me I need to load in my materials. No tool in clamp A, but in clamp B, I've got my knife blade, as I've shown you. And then to actually load my mat and begin, I'm going to press this button on the Cricut machine and get ready to go. So those are the only things I have to do. And then finally, you're going to go ahead and you're going to press go, which is going to be the Cricut button or that little C button. You're going to go ahead and press that. And then you will begin your cutting process. And I'll show you that here in the next video. It's very easy to operate. Very easy to do. There's really just a couple of steps. And the beauty of this is that once I have, and I'm going to go back here, once I have this all done, then the next time I want to print a zip placket, I'm ready to go because I can save this as a saved project and go ahead and just pull up that saved project and print it again. One other thing I did want to mention, I'm going to go back to Adobe Illustrator here to show you this. If you're just printing one item, then obviously you just have to import that one item. But if you're wanting to print multiple items, and I'm going to show you here, this is actually a wallet layout that I have designed in Adobe Illustrator, and I have set it up so that it is optimized for the Cricut. And what I mean by optimized for the Cricut is you've actually got all your pieces backed up one to another, and I've only got a single cutting line between pieces. If I were to take 2 pieces and put them side by side, I would have 2 cutting lines, and I might even have space in between my leather. The beauty of this is that you're saving leather, you're eliminating waste, excuse me, and you're minimizing the number of cuts that you have, so it's going to be able to cut a lot faster. So here you've got a layout. So this is what you're going to want to do when you get a project that you want to do over and over and over again, is really work hard at optimizing your layout in Adobe Illustrator or in your design software, and then importing this into the Cricut in one file where everything is optimized. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and cut our piece. We're going to cut to the other video so you can see the Cricut in action. So the first thing I'm going to do, and we're coming over here to the machine, is I'm going to go ahead and insert this. And by the way, there are these little star rings, they call them. Push all of those to the side so that they do not mark up your leather. So go ahead, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to hit the feeder button. You see it's flashing. I'm going to go ahead and hit the feeder button. It's going to feed that in. And then I'm going to go ahead, and now the Cricut symbol is lit, which is the go. So I'm going to hit the go button. And now it's going to get going. It's going to start working on our project here. So the magic of the Cricut begins. It's very exciting. It's moving that knife blade into position. This is actually going to make several passes, several cutting passes before it's complete. And it's going to do 4 passes with the knife blade to cut out this project. So I have my laptop connected to the Cricut through a USB cord, and it's actually telling it where to go. Now I understand that Cricut does make an iPad app and an iPhone app, but I would really recommend that you use the desktop app so that you make sure that you have everything laid out exactly as you'd like it. You also notice that I've got my leather masking taped down. Use masking tape to tape it down to the strong grip mat. And I would really recommend that you do that because you don't want your leather coming loose. So have a roll of masking tape handy and actually tape your leather to your work surface or your strong grip mat. So it's telling me on the screen that we actually have 1 minute remaining. It's cutting the 3rd pass already. So that's really good news. It's just going through and cutting multiple layers to get through from the top of the leather to the bottom of the leather. We're about 75% of the way complete. It's really nice that Cricut gives us this sort of indicator to tell us how far along we are. We can pause this if we need to and come back, but I have not had to do that at this point. I really sort of stay and watch the machine, make sure everything's going okay. And there we are. The project is almost complete. It's just finishing up. It's going to go finish things up. There we are. We're all finished. Now, on the screen, you see it's showing us, does this look good or do I need to cut some more? And because I have experience with this leather and I've done some other projects with this exact same leather, I know that everything is going to look fine. So I'm going to hit my eject button here. If I needed to cut more, I would just hit the Cricut machine to cut one more time, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the eject button. And there we have it. So we've cut out our zip placket. I'm going to go ahead and close the unit down so I have a little more workspace here to show you. So everything is all cut. I can go ahead and remove my masking tape from my work surface. Go ahead, and painter's tape is a great idea. I think this tape is maybe a little bit stronger. So now I can go ahead and get ready to unpeel my leather, which is so exciting. The nice thing is you can be working on other things. You can be doing some edge finishing or other things. Now, all I need to do is peel my leather back. It's going to peel that outer leather off first. And then I can peel off my project. There it is. Absolutely perfectly cut. My zip placket ready to go here, ready to stitch, ready to edge finish, and it's absolutely perfectly cut. So that's the advantage of these machines. Once you have the software set up, once you have your design file set up, if I need to print another zip placket tomorrow, I literally have the project ready to go. I just have to load in my leather on my mat, and I can go ahead and hit the go button and I'm ready to go. So there you have it, everybody, the Cricut Maker machine. I think it's going to revolutionize the way I work because I use these same pieces over and over again for multiple projects. Now that they're all set up in a Cricut Design Space file, I literally have to turn on my computer and hit the go button, load up my choice of leather, and it's going to go ahead and do a great job of cutting things out. So I hope that you can consider the Cricut Maker for your leatherwork projects. As always, follow along at Leatherwork School. You can follow along on YouTube, my Leatherwork School channel on YouTube, and go ahead and subscribe on Instagram. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube And as always, you can send me a DM if you have any questions about the Cricut Maker or any other leatherwork projects. Thanks very much. Have a great day.